Most of us growing up focusing on or educated on what is our outer goal, what is our external goal. And we think that is our primary and the only goal that we should have, which is to build an empire, to make millions, to find the love of your life, to become popular, to become a celebrity, to become good at sports, to become healthy, to become helpful, to become a kind person. And on one perspective, like you can't say it's wrong, but from what Eckhart Tolle talks about, and I highly align to what he says, as you start to grow in your consciousness, you'll see that it's not the only and it's not the main purpose on why we are born. There's an inner purpose, and the inner purpose is our primary purpose. But until one is awakened, there's not much that you can do. Until one has initiated the process of awakening, which means awakening is a process. It's not like a certain checkpoint and once you get there, it's gone. No, it's an ongoing process. So it's almost like as a little baby, until they can communicate verbally, there's no point like using sophisticated language to talk to them and thinking they're gonna comprehend most of the things that you say. So until one is awakening, it doesn't matter how many hours you spend on meditating or going to a certain monastery for retreats and stuff. That's not what he is alluding to. What he's alluding to is once you're awakened, the primary purpose, actually, even before you awaken, the primary purpose is to awaken, which is to have more awareness, to grow in your level of consciousness. But the problem is before you awaken, you're not aware that such a thing. You're not aware that you have choices. You're not aware that there's consciousness and there's your thinking. Two things are separate. You are not your thinking. They are not you. I'm an anxious person. I'm a stressful person. I'm an angry person. I'm a happy person. I'm a kind person. Like none of those are your thoughts that comes to you, but they are not you. And that's awareness. The awareness is the one that can catch all those thoughts that have a separation. When you take a conscious breath, you start to come back to your center. You start to operate more from your heart rather than solely from your head. Your heart will drive your head on what to think of, how to put logic to certain things, but you're not primary and only driven by the thoughts that goes into your head, nor are you driven by your animal instinct of just purely acting on emotions. So continuing from Eckhart Tolle, some people would think that I'm afraid I will live a life of being ordinary if I don't focus on my outer purpose. I want to live a life of greatness and harness my full potential. And I certainly have those thinking prior to me going on this awakening journey. Like, I don't want to be on a spiritual monk and just shave my head and carry a bucket of water and not have the luxury items around me and just sweeping leaves off the floor. And at least that's my stereotyping of what it means to be a monk. I want to be flying first class. I want to be enjoying the luxury life. I want to be helping people at the same time. So Eckhart Tolle says this: the paradox is that the foundation of greatness is honoring all the small things of the present moment instead of pursuing the idea of greatness. It is always small and simple, but lies the greatest power. Like the atom is small, but contains enormous power. Only when you align yourself to the present moment do you have access to this power. Or it may be more true to say that it has access to you. And through you to this world, Jesus once said, "It is not me, but the Father within me that does the work. I can of my own self do nothing." So what that means to me is like when Einstein, when Tesla saying that they didn't come up with those brilliant inventions or the ideas, the idea came to them. You look at the time that in your life, some people call it you get into a flow state. Some people call it in sporting terms hitting a purple patch, where time almost disappears. That you were hungry, or you may be logically, you should be hungry, you should be tired, but you're not. You're just in this flow and just doing your work, whether that's cleaning up, whether that's writing a thesis, or whether it's programming some stuff, or whether it's you're hustling in your business, trying to do some things. You're just in the zone of creativity. You don't feel like it's work. time just disappears. That's why people say time flies when you're having fun. You're in that flow state that even though you're supposedly doing work, it doesn't feel like work. What if by tapping into your flow state, which is driven by your higher self, higher consciousness, you can have more success in your life? Whereas in most cases, I'm sure that you've seen people around you, they work their butt off. They don't work 9 to 5, they work 9 to 6, 9 to 7, 9 to 9. In Candy's world, in Hong Kong, there's people that's working in like 8 o'clock in the morning till like 1 o'clock in the morning. And they wake up and do it again the next day. Like that is, they're working the butt off, but you look at their life, have you really shifted? Some of them incrementally in the income have changed, some have not. But even the ones that have somewhat income success, you look at the lifestyle, the happiness level hasn't really changed that much. And most people, like by the time they're 60 and 70, their life is pretty much still the same. They haven't changed, they haven't grown that much. The psychological challenges they've been dealing with their whole life, and they think it's the victimhood mentality that it's my mom, it's my siblings, it's my annoying boss. And 30, 40 years later, they're still dealing with the same thing. Or it's my partner, and they get a divorce and they find another partner, it's the same fights that are happening. So when you don't align with your higher self, you could fall into a loop of just busy running the human hamster wheel that never ends. So somebody asked Eckhart, like, how do we measure true success? The world will tell you that it is achieving what you set out to do. It will tell you that success is winning, finding recognition, and or prosperity are all essential ingredients in finding success. All of the above are byproducts of success, but it is not success. The conventional notion of success is based on the outcome of what you do. Some say success is a combination of hard work and luck, or determination and talent, or being in the right place at the right time. While any of these may be the determinant of success, it is not its essence. What the world does not tell you, because it doesn't know, unless it's the older indigenous culture, it is that you cannot become successful. You can only be successful. Don't let a mad world tell you that success is none other than a successful present moment. Let's say you're a successful businessman or entrepreneur, and after 2 years of intense stress and strain, you end up with a product that sells well and makes money. Success? In conventional terms, yes. In reality, you spend 2 years polluting your body and the earth with negative energy, make yourself and those around you miserable, and affecting many others that you never even met. The unconscious assumption behind all such action is that success is a future event, and the end justifies the means. But the end and the means are one. And if the means did not contribute to the human happiness, neither will the end. That's why many of us have experienced or witnessed that we have some grand external goals, and we end up just celebrating for a very short moment, and then that dissipates. And we think that this journey is worth it because it got to that external outcome that we could measure. But we cannot become successful. We can only be successful, which is be in this present moment. And if that means I pick up some cards right now, and that's what I'm conscious of doing, that's what I'm focusing on, then I'm successful in this moment. But if I'm unconscious, I'm picking up a card because I feel like I have to, then that's not successful as defined by Eckhart Tolle. But I remember what Eckhart Tolle talks about. There's two purposes that we have. One is the external goal, the external purpose, which is like improve on your mountain biking skills, like grit, determination, persistence, and hard work, and no sweat, no tears, and any of those mumbo jumbo that I just roll off my tongue. But the priority, the primary purpose that we came here for, which is our inner purpose, is to have that consciousness, the awareness in the moment. And in that, I just return to my breath, return to the consciousness. I can see that's almost like this turmoil, tsunami-like thinking that, oh my God, look at the way he's paddling right now. Like even my 5-year-old can paddle faster than a 10-year-old. And a lot of stories, rational thinking, seemingly logical thinking just come flooding in. But with that conscious breath, it's almost like the Red Sea, like it just bypassed my brain. It just went to the side, went to the top, and just gave me space, calm presence. And as I continue to paddle, I don't know whether it's the placebo effect, but when I regained my consciousness, he seemed to paddle faster, maybe by 10, 15, 20%. But I've seen it so many times in my own life that internally, when you're not having at war with that situation, then externally, the situation seems to go away. It seems to dissipate. The challenge, the problem, it just seems to dissipate. Manifestation stuff as well. When you're not driven by fear, like just say if you want to manifest more money, more wealth, and inside it's driven by fear that what if I don't have enough? But when you can become at peace and not let what you're trying to manifest driven by fear, but just driven by a sense of peace and surrender to what will unfold, maybe it will unfold something more magical than wealth, than material wealth. You never know. Maybe both is going to come. But if you just surrender to it and just trust that you'll be looked after, then very often you'll see miracles happen before your eyes. And Eckhart continues on to say that realize that your entire life journey ultimately consists of the step you are taking at this moment. There is always only this one step, and so you give it your fullest attention. This does not mean that you don't know where you are going. It just means that this is the primary step and the destination is secondary. Also, what you encounter at your destination once you get there depends on the quality of this one step. It means what the future holds for you depends on your state of consciousness now. So rather than rushing and going to work and going to the gym and picking up the kids and doing your house chores and stuff, what if the future of your world? What if there are multiple timelines already created? Which one you move into, it depends on your state of consciousness now. If you believe that you're a victim of your circumstances, that, man, I've got so much to do, I'm so stressed and I need to get all this done, then that will be your world. If you find peace and harmony and joy and gratitude in this moment, that is the alternate timeline that you'll be moving into. And million, trillions other combination of paths that you can move into too, but you choose. When doing is infused with the timeless quality of being, that is success. So it's not saying don't do, but it needs to be integrated with the being. It's not saying don't have external goals, but it needs to be integrated with the inner purpose of having that consciousness, tapping into your higher purpose, what is calling you to do. That's someone that I've been wanting to do a collaboration, to do a show together, like a podcast type of show together for probably 6 months now. He's been one of the most popular guests, probably in the top 5 of the podcast that I launched a year ago. And he's shared a few of his online courses with me and indulged in the content. But for whatever reason, like something is resisting that for me to reach back out. Let's do something together, because logically it makes sense. But it's not like my schedule logically is fully packed, so I didn't have time to reach out. That's just the inner voice that was saying that, not yet, Gary. But today it just felt right. And to him, it's like he said, it's perfect. It just felt right for him too. And that's what I'm kind of referring to divine timing. Like when you listen to your intuition, when you get conscious, when you give it enough room for your thinking, because your inner guidance, when you have so much going on, when you don't meditate or have stillness or have just mindfulness, it's hard to distinguish which one are your noises and which one are the thoughts that's guided by your higher consciousness. Because very often when we're new to this, it seems like our guidance is our own thinking as well. Just like now that I reflect on my whole life, in my love life, in my entrepreneurial life, in a lot of things that's happened to me, now I can recognize that it's too divine for my ego to be dictating of how to orchestrate each one of those steps. It's too divine, the people that I met along the way. Am I that brilliant in creating the business that I did, that winning like awards? Now that reflecting back to it, dude, like I'm no smarter than most people out there. Like, in fact, I can't do many of the intelligent stuff that most people can. Like, yeah, what they say, the right person at the right time and took the right action because I was guided by it. It seems like I didn't have to do much. I just got on the right train. And romantically, am I that good of a romantic person that I think there was like up to 6 person like pursuing my wife at the same time as I was pursuing her? Am I like that good looking that I was able to charm her like off her feet compared to other 6 people? Again, I think there was certain divine message speaking to me and divine thoughts coming to her. And that's how we came together. It's just divine. So Eckhart continued to say, unless being flows into doing, unless you are present, you lose yourself in whatever you do. You lose yourself in thinking, as well as in your reaction in what happens externally. That's it for the Eckhart's transmission. But it's something that dictates our whole life. Consciousness is the most important of what we do. When we have consciousness, we can at least choose what emotion we want to feel, rather than just being reactive to the external situations that happens to us. And logically speaking, if you are more in check with your emotions in school, in business, and in life, then you'll be able to harness the emotion that can serve you better in that situation. Like instead of getting stressed in the situation, you could just focus on something that will be more productive in helping you in that emotion. Maybe tapping your patience, maybe tapping into understanding, maybe tapping into empathy for others or for yourself. And within that, you can create any external purpose or goals that you choose to. But if we choose to pursue the external purpose as our primary, what if we live by this ideology because of what we've been taught, what we've been conditioned that we need to do? But inside, we have no control over our emotions, our consciousness. We believe our thinking is our thinking. And so when we're pursuing the good grades and the good job and the good business, and then we're driven by the external noises, the news, the people around us that's running on the same hamster wheel, very soon we lose ourselves, we lose consciousness.